Darnell Hartwell became the Berkeley County Coroner in January of 2023. He tells me what he's working on for the office right now for this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel and like Quintin's Close-Ups on Facebook. Berkeley County Coroner Darnell Hartwell, welcome back to Quintin's Close-Ups.
Thank you. Thank you for having me again, sir.
Oh, I appreciate it greatly. Needless to say, we spoke in 2022 when you ran for office. And of course, you got elected. And you actually took office on January 2nd, 2023 of last year. So let me ask you this, Coroner. What's new? What's now with the Berkeley County Coroner's Office?
Yes, sir. Well, again, Mr. Washington, thank you for having me again. Has been quite some time. Again, as I stated when I ran for office, I was involved in the coroner's office here in Berkeley County for almost 20 years. So other than me being the boss, not too much has changed. I kind of knew what I was getting into when I ran for office. But needless to say, we have been very busy in Berkeley County in last year. The coroner's office last year investigated over 1,800 calls in Berkeley County on last year. And of course, that's an increase from the previous year. But we definitely is staying busy here in Berkeley County. And already this year, we are probably at 300 calls for the year so far in 2023.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Well, let me ask you this, Coroner. Homicides, suicides, accidents, unknown causes. Which one was the biggest? Which one has been the biggest for Berkeley County thus far?
I just made a public release statement a few days ago, and first time ever in the history of the coroner's office, we are going to produce our first annual report. The final numbers have not came in yet. We're waiting on some testing that should be getting in any day now. So we are starting to build this annual report. From what I can tell you at this moment, in 2023, we had between 17 and 19 homicides, probably 23, 25 suicides. We're going to probably have about 100 overdoses in last year as well. We have went up with our traffic-related deaths. I think that was about 69. Again, I'm still waiting on those final numbers, so I may be a number or two off. But again, we did definitely saw an increase across the board last year with all the deaths here in Berkeley County. But also be reminded, with our county, our size and constantly growing, those are some things we're seeing as well.
Okay, and what type of testing are you using for this annual report, Coroner?
Yes, sir. We have autopsy testing, toxicology testing that takes time to get back in. We may have a case or two that we're still probably investigating. So again, those things take time before we can be able to complete those cases. Again, we want to make sure that we properly investigate every death. My office conducts independent investigation. We work alongside our law enforcement agencies, which we have a great working relationship with them. But at the end of the day, I'm charged with conducting my own independent investigations within the Berkeley County Coroner's Office.
And so far, how many independent investigations had you had to conduct?
Well, the whole 1,800 is our own investigation. So every death that occurs in Berkeley County, the coroner's office has to conduct their own independent investigation. Again, we work closely with our law enforcement partners and other agencies we work with as well to make sure we are getting factual information and things like that. But the job of a coroner, not just the Berkeley County coroner, the job of a coroner is to conduct our own independent investigations. We are elected by the people and we answer to the people.
Absolutely, absolutely. And let me ask you this. You talked about obviously that growth, which I'm sure has contributed to a lot of these deaths over the past couple of years. But what are the last figures of population when you look at Berkeley County?
I had some meeting with our administration in the past few months. And right now, Berkeley County population is around 250,000. And that number is going to grow significantly in the near future.
Wow. So Coroner, let me ask you this. How do you keep up with that growth, with smart growth within your office?
Yes, sir. Um, since day one when I got elected, I hit the ground running, and I'm still running, trying to stay up. But again, I'm working very closely with our county supervisor. I work closely with our county council group, um, and also just staying involved. Keeping up with the growth, meeting with the people and planning and development in Berkeley County, and just being informed, making sure that I'm at the table when those conversations are occurring. Not so much that I have anything to say, but again, I like to be informed to know what's coming so I can plan accordingly to make sure that my office is kept in the forefront as well.
And with those discussions and having you at the table, what have you and your office been informed about when it comes to growth in Berkeley County, and how are you actually preparing for that?
They let us know it's coming. And me living in Berkeley County all my life, I've seen it. I see it every day. And again, like I said, I don't have too much to say when I'm at that table. But again, I just want to be informed, know what's coming, know what areas that's coming, so that again I can be prepared for that as well. One of the things our annual report does that I think is very beneficial is that our annual report is able to provide a lot of factual data to our administration here in Berkeley County, to stakeholders, to lawmakers. And I use this for example. If there's a particular area in the county that has a lot of crime, that unfortunately fatalities was the result of, we are able to provide that information to our law enforcement partners, and they can be able to enforce that area a little bit more. Again, we're seeing an increase in drug related deaths in Berkeley County. We work very, very close with a lot of prevention partners, and we share that information with them. And then we are able, even my staff, we are able to put boots on the ground and go in those areas and try to educate the people on the things that we're seeing. My office is also a Narcan distributor.
Right.
We have Narcan that we take on scene with us. If we see the use for it, or if we see an individual that may have told us that they're a user, we are able to leave Narcan back for them as well. Unfortunately, not since I got elected, even prior to that, there has been cases where I have went to, and I go that morning and work overdose, and that night I'm back at that same residence working another overdose. We have it where husbands and wives are both overdosing and dying, and again, we just felt the need to be able to do that. And let me add this as well. One of my goals and mission as being coroner is to be transparent. I want to be as transparent as possible. And one of the things that's very hard for me to do is to sit in my office at my desk and see over 1,800 calls, deaths that comes across my desk, and me not being able to do anything and not to be proactive. So my team and I are working very hard to be proactive. Even though we are in the death investigation field, we want to be proactive because a lot of cases that we are seeing coming into the office can be preventable.
When you're sharing this particular information in regards to obviously overdoses in Berkeley County, what type of information is really shocking to you right now, Coroner?
Well, again, we're just seeing an increase in it. We just had a meeting today talking about the drugs that we're seeing here in Berkeley County. We actually have a group in Berkeley County called the Opioid Fatality Review Board, and my office heads that up. But we had probably 20 different agencies involved in that meeting today, and we all sit and we look at different cases to see if there was any possible lack of services that wasn't given to the decedent. It's not a meeting where we're slapping each other wrists saying you didn't do this or you didn't do that. We're just trying to see what works and what doesn't work and put things in place. My office, again, there were things that came out of the meeting that we felt that we could do, and that was the Narcan. We were able to become a Narcan distributor, and that was something that we learned by having those particular meetings, and we can only hope that it saved lives.
What else? Well, what else is working and what is not working that you want to make sure it works in the future?
Well, again, we have our preventative partners. We have the Kennedy Center, the Ernest E. Kennedy Center that we work very closely with. Wake Up Carolina just came to Berkeley County. And again, us sitting and having those conversations is what helped bring these organizations to the table. Again, there's a lot of hurting families out here that's going through very tragic loss. Again, not just overdoses, the homicides, the suicides. So again, it's a wide range of things that we're dealing with here. And again, just trying to get everybody to understand what we're seeing here in Berkeley County.
And trending wise, Coroner, where else are you seeing tragedies happening in Berkeley County that you didn't see 5-10 years ago?
Definitely the traffic related accidents. We have seen golf cart accidents. We have seen 4-wheeler accidents, accidental overdoses. We're seeing a lot of that as well. Again, it's just a wide range of things that we're seeing here in Berkeley County.
And how many backwards cases were there in 2023 coming from your office?
How many? Excuse me, what was the question?
Yes, sir. How many backwards cases were there in 2023?
What do you mean by backwards cases?
Or any, let's say, for instance, any backlog cases by chance?
Well, none that I can think of.
Okay.
Again, we close out our cases. Again, we are in 2024 now, and I'm anticipating by the end of this month, we should have all of 2023 cases closed out. Again, it does take us a little while to get the annual report finished because it's the first time ever that we are doing this report. And I also want to be able to share some of this information with some of my law enforcement agencies, prevention partners, because I do feel that once the report goes live, agencies may be getting contacted in reference to certain things. So again, I want to give them a fair opportunity to be able to review that report to know, what's coming so they can be prepared as well.
And Coroner, how many deaths were actually returned to the medical professional last year?
When you say return to the medical profession, what do you mean by that?
Oh, going back over to the medical, going to the hospitals and stuff like that.
As far as being autopsied?
Yes, sir. Exactly right.
I don't have that number in front of me. In that annual report, that's going to be very detailed on how many cases was autopsied at the medical university.
And I might be going ahead of myself, Coroner, but were there any partial autopsies actually conducted?
Yes, sir, it has. That was one of the things that I've done. We started doing a little bit of it under the previous leadership here at the coroner's office, but it's part of my policy now that we do partial autopsies on certain cases. Okay. And again, that annual report is going to break all those down as well. How many full autopsies were there? Right. How many partial autopsies there were? How many toxicology testing that was there as well? Again, with the growth that we're seeing here in Berkeley County, with the increase of death that we're seeing in Berkeley County, it's definitely putting a strain on my budget as well. So that's another aspect of the annual report that's going to be able to share is on the finances of the Berkeley County Coroner's Office as well.
So let me ask you this. What were your budget projections for 2023?
With personnel and operation, I want to say, and I'm not looking at the budget in front of me, but my operational budget is around $600,000. With personnel, it's a little over $1 million.
Wow! And what were the total expenditures for your particular office?
We spent every bit of that $600,000 and more. And again, those are some conversations that we are having with our county supervisor. And also our Berkeley County Council, and they are listening.
Yes.
like I said, we are having numerous conversations. I have actually had many trips at the admin building since I became elected, but they're always there, willing to listen to me, hear my concerns, and again, this annual report is going to be able to shed a lot of light and inform not just our county administration, but also the people of Berkeley County of the things that we're seeing. Berkeley County is a beautiful county. Again, I'm a resident of Berkeley County and been here all my life. And it's just a beautiful place to come. So we're not trying to discourage anybody from coming to Berkeley County. But again, I just have to be honest, and I have to address the issues that we are facing here in Berkeley County.
And Coroner, just let me know whenever you have to leave. But let me ask you this. How much you talked about obviously trying to educate the Berkeley County residents about obviously all of the things that are going on around them, such as, overdoses and all these other tragedies. How much money was actually available in your 2023 budget for, say, special projects?
I have that. I don't have all that in front of me. And again, those are things that's going to be detailed in the report of all that.
Yes, sir. And I want to ask you this too. In 2023, Coroner, how much? Well, the coroner's office, I'm sure, was responsible. But how much direct referrals were there for organ donation organizations?
A part of that will be in the report as well. Again, I don't have that in front of me. We do work very closely with organ procurement. Berkeley County has not turned down any organ procurement. If there's a way that we can do it, I can assure you that we do it. Organ procurement kind of hits me personal. I had a father about 4 years ago that had a kidney transplant, and it came from the same organ procurement organization that I deal with. There was no favors done. He went through the policies and everything, just like how any and everybody else has to do. But again, and to be honest with you, I look at organ procurement a lot differently since that. And again, I can assure you, not just us in Berkeley County, but all the coroners across the state, we strive to be able to accommodate and work with our organ procurement if we can. We also have to be reminded that my job is to speak for the decedent, work for the families. And in very rare cases, there can be cases where procurement may have to be refused due to further examination, autopsies, things of that nature. But I did receive a report earlier this year stating our numbers from last year. And if I'm not mistaken, we have not refused any of them. And again, like I said, that I can't stress enough that annual report. That annual report is going to be able to tell on all those. If there was any denial, it's going to be listed in there. If we were able to successfully work with our organ procurements, it's going to be in there as well.
And I want to ask you this too. You talk about work. So what state-of-the-art imaging machine is your office currently using to actually enhance comprehensive forensics investigations?
Well, we are currently, we work with the medical university. We use SLED. We also work with private labs. There are some conversations that I'm having with my administration now on some other things that we can possibly, hopefully we can get grants. We are currently submitting grants to get a lot more of the forensic technology. This office don't conduct forensic autopsies, so a lot of those things that you're referencing is done with coroner's office that conduct their own autopsies, like CT scans and radiology and all those kind of things. My neighboring county has a lot of that, but we don't have that just yet in Berkeley County.
Just yet. So when do you expect that to come around?
Well, again, my county supervisor and I have had some pretty good conversations, and some of the conversations that I'm having with them and my council is letting them know they have to be informed. If they're not informed, then they can't be held liable or anything like that. So right now, I'm having those conversations with them regarding what is the next 10, 15 years going to look like with death investigations in Berkeley County. where we are now and the money that we're spending on other labs, autopsies and things like that. Maybe in the future, we may be able to conduct our own autopsies here in Berkeley County. We do have a ways to go before that happens, but for now, it's my job to try to lay that breakdown and just make sure that they are informed with those numbers. And again, I know we talking a lot about my annual report.
Yes.
That's one of the steps for the future. 5 years from now, we can come back and look at the annual report for 2023 and see where we are. And then everybody's able to make an educated decision on where the coroner's office needs to go with the increase that we're seeing.
And I got two last questions for you, Coroner. But in 2023, what were the out-of-county autopsy fees?
I'm not privileged to that information. I know my 2023, we budget $375,000 for autopsies. Again, I don't know what the other counties does, but I know that was my budget for not just for autopsy, toxicology testings. We call that medical professional services, which includes autopsy, toxicology testing. Again, the prices fluctuate. It's never always the set price. At times there may be a new designer drug that's starting to surface. So again, it costs additional funding to test for those additional drugs. So again, a lot of it depends on our field investigation, evidence that we're collecting at the scenes, things of that nature.
And I hope, if it's okay with you, to bring you back on Quintin's Close-Ups later this year so we can talk about the results of your annual report. But for now, Berkeley County Coroner Darnell Hartwell, thank you so much for your time. Again, welcome back to Quintin's Close-Ups.
Thank you, Quintin, for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. Anytime.
Yes, sir.